on free death. Many die too late, and some die too early. The doctrine still sounds strange. Die at the right time. Die at the right time. Thus Zarathustra teaches it. To be sure, how could the person who never lives at the right time ever die at the right time? Would that he were never born. Thus I advise the superfluous. But even the superfluous boast about their dying. And even the hollowest nut still wants to be cracked. Everyone regards dying as important, but death is not yet a festival. As of yet people have not learned how to consecrate the most beautiful festivals. Is how you the consummating death that becomes a goad and a promise to the living. The consummated one dies his death. Victorious, surrounded by those who hope and promise. Thus one should learn to die, and there should be no festival where such a dying person does not swear oaths to the living. To die thus is best. Second best, however, is to die fighting and to squander a great soul. But your grinning death, the one that creeps up like a thief and yet comes as master, it is hated as much by the fighter as by the victor. My death I praise to you, the free death that comes to me because I want. And when will I want it? Whoever has a goal and an heir wants death at the right time for his goal and heir. And out of reverence for his goal and heir he will no longer hang withered wreaths in the sanctuary of life. Indeed, I do not want to be like the rope makers. They stretch out their threads and in doing so always walk backwards. Some become too old even for their truths and victories. A toothless mouth no longer has the right to every truth. And everyone who wants to have fame must take leave of honor from time to time and practice the difficult art of leaving, at the right time. One must stop letting oneself be eaten when one tastes best. This is known by those who want to be loved for a long time. There are sour apples, to be sure, whose lot demands that they wait for the last day of autumn, and immediately they become ripe, yellow and wrinkled. With some the heart ages first and with others the mind. A few are hoary in their youth, but the late young stay long young. For some life fails, a poisonous worm eats its way to their heart. Let them see to it that their dying succeeds all the more. Some never become sweet, they rot already in summer. It is cowardice that keeps them clinging to the branch. Far too many live and far too long they hang on their branches. Would that a storm came to shake all this rot and worm food from the tree. Would that preachers of the quick death came. They would be the right storms and shakers of the trees of life for me. But I hear only preaching of the slow death and patience with all things, earthly. Indeed, you preach patience with earthly things. It is the earthly things that have too much patience with you. You slanderers! Truly, too early did that Hebrew die, the one who is honored by the preachers of slow death, and for many it has since become their doom that he died too early. He still knew only tears and the melancholy of the Hebrews, together with the hatred of the good and just, the Hebrew Jesus, then longing for death overcame him. If only he had remained in the desert and far away from the good and the just. Perhaps he would have learned to live and to love the earth, and even to laugh. Believe me, my brothers. He died too early. He himself would have recanted his teaching if he had reached my age. He was noble enough for recanting. But he had not yet matured. A youth loves immaturely. And immaturely too he hates mankind and earth. Still tethered and heavy to him are his mind and the wings of his spirit. But in a man there is more child than in a youth, and less melancholy. He knows more about death and life. Free for death and free in death, a sacred naysayer when it is no longer time for yes, thus he knows about death and life. Do not allow your death to be a slander against mankind and earth, my friends, that I beseech of the honey of your soul. In your dying your spirit and your virtue should still glow like a sunset around the earth, or else your dying has failed you. Thus I myself want to die, so that you my friends love the earth more for my sake, and I want to become earth again, so that I may have peace in the one who bore me. Truly, Zarathustra had a goal, he threw his ball. Now you my friends are the heirs of my goal, to you I throw the golden ball. More than anything I like to see you, my friends, throwing the golden ball. And so I linger yet a bit on earth. Forgive me that. Thus spoke Zarathustra.